Hi, Deer Valley. This is Miss Anderson, and today I'm answering a question from Jocelyn and Shaun in Mr. Martin's class. This was a pretty big question, so it took me a bit more time than some of the others to put together. Jocelyn and Shaun both were interested in steps to being healthy, which is really a pretty great question. And so I've gathered my top 8 suggestions to be healthy, both mentally and physically. Let's get started. Now, naturally, my number one suggestion is going to be eating healthy. Some of these ideas we've already covered in class, but some we will cover in the next few months. So if something doesn't sound or look completely familiar, don't worry, we are going to be going over it. So I've kind of split this up into two different categories. One is to vary your food choices and the other is to choose your food wisely. So in varying your food choices, we've talked about how we want to eat from all 5 of the food groups: vegetables, fruits, protein, dairy, and grains. And we want to make sure that we're eating different foods from each of those groups. So you're not eating the same exact food every single day. Because remember, it's all about the nutrients that they provide. And the more different types of food you eat and from the different food groups is going to mean more nutrients that your body is receiving. So just to be a little more specific, we talked about eating veggies from all 5 of the subgroups. And we remember that the red and the orange and the dark green are those veggie subgroups that are often forgotten or left alone. So you want to make sure you're eating those. And then the bean and the pea group, remember, is unique because not only is it a vegetable, but it does provide proteins for us. And so that leads us into the different types of protein that are available. Make sure that you're eating both animal and plant sources, and there's a couple examples there for you. And then you want to choose your foods wisely in general. So we talked about our whole grains versus refined grains. You want to make sure that if you are choosing fruits, that you're eating whole fruits over drinking fruit juice. Fruit juice is full of a lot of sugar without the fiber that is helpful for our digestive system. You want to choose low-fat dairy options. We talked about reading food labels in class, and we'll do that a little bit more, but you want to make sure you're checking out those products that you're eating. You want to choose foods that are low in sodium, low in sugar, and low in saturated fat, and that is definitely something we'll talk about a little bit further in class. And very importantly, we have discussed how important it is to drink water. You want to make sure you're choosing water over other sugar-laden foods. But just in general, try to make sure you're drinking at least 8 glasses of water a day. My second tip is to be active. Next to good nutrition, being active is extremely important. Not only does it make you feel better physically, it also helps your mood and ability to think. There's a lot of research that shows that being active can actually help you be a better student. And so they suggest at least 1 hour every single day of activity. And activity can look like all sorts of things. It could be skateboarding, riding your bike, taking a walk, going hiking, swimming, doing muscle strengthening exercises like push-ups and sit-ups and things like that. So you always want to make sure you're getting your active minutes every single day. Number 3 is all about making sure you get plenty of sleep. For your age group, 10 to 11 hours every single night is suggested. Lack of sleep makes it hard to think, it makes people grumpy, and it makes it hard to be active. Reducing screen time is number 4. TV, computer, phone, video games, that's all different variations of screen time. For your age group, research shows anywhere from 6 to 9 hours per day in front of a screen, with 4 to 5 hours spent watching TV is the norm. So all of this screen time basically means that that's low activity time, and that could mean increased rates of obesity and increased health concerns. So something that you might want to try is to create technology-free zones and set aside times to unplug within your house. So maybe there are certain rooms that you go in where you never bring a phone or you don't have your computer or TV, and maybe you set up an hour or 2 every day where you just don't have anything accessible. It's all unplugged essentially. And then maybe instead you go outside and you enjoy some activity with friends and family. And speaking of going outside, that is my number 5 tip, being outside. Being outside has all kinds of health benefits. There's increased concentration for students with ADHD, there's decreased stress levels, increased mental and physical well-being, and there's a decreased likelihood of being overweight based on the time spent outside. Now, there's a huge infographic on the right hand side of the slide that you could always pause the video and take a look at. There's a lot of different pieces of information there. But basically, children who play outside are happier, smarter, and less anxious. And currently, unfortunately, on average, children spend only about 12 minutes every day in lively outdoor play. So that's where you're really being physically active. My number 6 tip is to help others and be kind to others. This tip is specifically designed to help your mental health, to help you be happy. Basically, whenever you're helping others, this actually makes you feel happier. And so maybe this means helping a friend with schoolwork or helping a parent around the house, or maybe it means being kind to someone that doesn't have many friends. Every day you have a chance to make a difference. Trying something new is number 7. You've all heard me talk about how we like to try new foods. Maybe you've even experienced Try Day Friday or Tuesday Taste Day. I think most of you have. We've talked a lot about how it can take even 20 times to try a new food and to actually like it. So, what about other areas of your life? What do you like to do now? How do you know? There are so many hobbies and activities that you can try out and see if you like them. Lastly, number 8 is to be thankful. The goal here is to adjust how you look at your surroundings. Some of my classes have already tried this out by keeping track of the different things that make them happy in their agenda. Basically, you're going to keep a journal of some sort. Your goal is to write down 1 to 3 things every day. And this could be hard at first, depending on how you typically think of things. And so just kind of think to yourself what makes you happy or smile or generally feel good, and you note that down. Always understand that although you're going to look for the positive, there are going to be situations that are tough. And it doesn't mean that the difficult and sad stuff isn't going to happen or that we ignore it. It's just that we are more aware of what's happening in our lives, both the good and the bad. And so sometimes we just need help being thankful and remembering the good because sometimes we just focus on the bad. So being thankful. So there you go, Jocelyn and Shaun. I hope this answered your question. Thank you so much for asking.